Welcome to Digital Asset News, where we take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down into bite-sized pieces. Before we start, let's do a little housekeeping. First of all, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial planner, a financial analyst, or anything that has to do with finances. I'm just a small business owner that has a firm belief in cryptocurrencies and digital assets. Secondly, if you do us a huge favor and do one of three things: either like the video, comment below, and that could be anything. You could tell us how great the video is or the video sucks. Doesn't matter, just comment below. And the third thing is to subscribe. Now, you don't have to do all three things, but one of those would be greatly appreciated. So today, let's get into it. CNBC had a fantastic video, and it went over different aspects of what Tim Draper stated as far as his prediction for Bitcoin price in 2021, 2022, and where it all is going to go. Now, what was fantastic about this was that it gives us not only price predictions, but different milestones. But as you're going to see in this video, how things are just starting to progress in the public consciousness. In 2019 was a pretty shitty year. Let's just be honest. It sucked. 2017 was awesome. Everything went up and up and up, and it seems like it could never go down, and of course it did. And I, and maybe you, if you're not new to the game, learned a valuable lesson, which is be smart about stuff and don't think that everything's going to be pie in the sky. So with this video that we're going to watch right here, we're going to go over, and they're going to lay it out in a quick 5-minute fashion of where they think things are going to go, how this is all going to play out. And there's some interesting tidbits. And also we're going to get into after that is what's called an exit strategy. I do not want you who are watching this video to screw up like I did in 2017. We're going to go over some things. And again, this is not financial advice. This is just what I'm going to do. You can do your own research. But I'm going to show you what I should have done in 2017, and I wish someone was out there could have shown me this so I wouldn't have been so, what's the word? Stupid. That's it. So let's get into it.
Let's take a look at Bitcoin. The crypto falling below 7,000 this week, back above it at 7,130 right now. But one major Bitcoin bull says it might be ready for a big-time breakout. Longtime venture capitalist Tim Draper doubling down on his prediction today that Bitcoin prices could hit $250,000 each.
First of all, if you're unfamiliar with who Tim Draper is, because I was at one point, Tim Draper he's not an analyst, but he is an investor, and he's made some pretty good different investments throughout his career. He was also the guy that said that, this was back in 2013, he said that Bitcoin would go to 10,000 or more by 2017, and everybody laughed at him and thought he was effing nuts. Well, he was a little crazy because it didn't hit 10,000, it hit 20,000. So this is a guy who knows what to invest in, and he's also the guy that invested in things like, Tesla and PayPal, little things like that. And you can look at his track record. He has numerous hits, and this is the guy that at first when I heard it, I was like, this guy's crazy. But time has gone on, and he's made a lot of sense. Let's keep going.
In the next 2 years. Brian Kelly's at the Plaza. And I got to be honest with you, Brian, when the producers, we talked about this earlier today, I said, I don't know if we should talk about it because I felt like it was so bold, it's almost irresponsible. But Draper's he's a well-known guy. Yep. He's not going to say anything he doesn't believe. So we went ahead and did this. I mean, is there anything that you're seeing that could make this bizarro prediction happen?
So, yeah, you know what? It sounds bizarro, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of what Bitcoin has done in the past. And so that's why I wanted to bring up this chart. And just to be clear, this is not my call, but I just want to take a look at what Bitcoin does. So the chart we have here is a log chart of Bitcoin since 2013. And as Carter Worth will say, the lines draw themselves, but you have this channel going all the way back to 2013, and it's traded nicely in that. Now look at this. If you go all the way out here to the top of this channel here, that's about 200,000, 250,000. So Bitcoin just stayed in this pattern, and this is normal analysis that people do on all asset classes. If it just stayed in that channel, the top of that channel is around 200, 250,000. So that's the technicals behind it. The fundamentals, let's call it, is that if Bitcoin were at 250,000, that'd be about a $4.5 trillion market cap, which would be about half the market cap of all the gold in the world. And so I think Tim Draper thinks, and I certainly have some of this view, is that Bitcoin is going to take market share from gold. So if you think over the next 2 years it could take 50% of that market share, then that prediction isn't too far out of whack.
So right there, gold. There's this. So if Bitcoin can do this, and I believe it can, if it takes 50% of the market share of gold, because gold is a very safe haven, especially when there are economic troubles ahead and during, people will invest in precious metals, gold, silver, that type of thing. And it makes sense, right? Because it's hard to trust central banks. It's hard to trust the Federal Reserve. It's hard to trust governments. But what you can trust in is a product like gold and silver, which has been around thousands of years. Great. There's a guy named Peter Schiff. If you don't know him, he has been touting the economic collapse since the early 2000s. And he has also talked about Bitcoin and how it sucks and how it's vaporware and how it's worthless. Now, if you take a look at, if you watch this section right here, like I did with keen interest, you can see why Peter Schiff is saying that Bitcoin is a sham and it is a Ponzi scheme and it is awful. Because if it takes 50% of his business, don't you think you'd be a little concerned? I don't care what kind of business you own, but if someone takes 50% of your profits, you're going to be a little, what's the word? Not scared, concerned with what's going to happen. And you might have a view that is a little bit negative of that potential other product. So I can see why. I don't hate Peter Schiff for saying it. I mean, hell, he may even believe it, that Bitcoin is vaporware, but he's wrong. And I can see why, because he's nervous. And, we should kind of feel sorry for Peter Schiff. Hey, I mean, Bitcoin's coming to eat your lunch, and that's just how it is. Anyhow, what I wanted to go over this is how this gentleman was talking about, yeah, it's going to go up, it's going to go up to 250,000, and, these are the trend lines we can draw. First of all, TA, I don't believe in it. I can see where this is going. I understand. I can see why, because of some information behind it. However, the big thing I want you to notice is not the tops. If you're new to this game, you're gonna be wide-eyed and wondered and be like, wow, there's all this money to be made and this is gonna happen. Take it from me, who got into it late 2017. I thought everything would just keep going up. I'm like, well, everything's going up and, institutions are going to definitely come in and all the money's going to flow in because it just makes sense. This technology makes sense. You can do a lot of different payments with it. It can be a store of value. It's trustless. It's open. It's fungible. It's durable. There's a scarcity. It's transferable. I mean, just like everything that has to do with money. What I want you to focus on right now is those low points. Those low points, those 2, 3, 4 sections there. There's only 2 high points, okay? Focus on those low points because that's what you got to deal with. That's what we have to deal with. We are early adopters. And I want you to get into your head that you're not going to be rich overnight. That is stupid. You have to be careful in this market and you have to realize that what goes up must come down. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, not too far to walk. BK, come on back to the desk.
Back, big boy.
All right, so Tom, you've been obviously bullish on Bitcoin. I mean, and again, I'm not...
All right, this is my guy, Tom Lee. In 2017, 2016, this guy was on CNBC Fast Money, and he was treated like a god. Because he was the one who was like, yeah, Bitcoin's going to be awesome, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be awesome, it's going to be fantastic, it's going to be huge, or whatever. I mean, everybody loves him. However, 2018, he was kind of looked at like, what the hell happened? In 2019, he was like, as I wrote here, redheaded stepchild, 2019. They're like, ugh, come on, Tom, come on to the show. Spew your ridiculousness, let's hear it. And he was always pretty consistent, like, hey, Bitcoin's gonna go up, so yeah, it's down now, it sucks, but it'll go up. So it's just amazing that now, he comes back in and people are starting to see it, especially the panelists, they're starting to see what's gonna happen. So it's interesting to see how he's treated a little bit better now. He's not like some black sheep. Like, hey, come on in, Tom. Tell us all about it. Now that Bitcoin, we hear about 250,000, everything's going to go up. It's amazing. So, yeah, it's good to see Tom Lee not kicked around so hard.
Disrespecting Tim Draper at all. He's obviously an incredibly smart and successful guy, but is this one of those headlines you put out just to get news, or do you really believe this is something that can happen? Not you, but him.
I mean, I kind of agree with Brian. When you look at this on a log basis, the idea that Bitcoin would get there would be consistent with the idea it's a generational trade. I don't know if 24 months is how long it would take, unless it would take 5 years. But if it took 5 years, I think it'd still be considered a huge, massive, surprising success.
200. Anybody?
Here's I think the point these guys are making. I would put it in different terms for a guy that's not in the Bitcoin market every day. The volatility you see in this asset class is so extraordinary that it's still been a great year for Bitcoin despite this pullback.
It's doubled.
People that have been playing.
So right there, I have to stop. He said, yeah, it doubled. It's great. Look, it's awesome that it doubled if you bought in at the all-time low, which was of this year. I think it was like $3,100 something. Yeah, if you timed it perfectly, fantastic. And then you sold it at the high of 14,000 or 13.9. Great for you. But who's going to do that? Who's able to do that? Don't tell me technical analysis analysts can do it, because they can't. They can guess all day long, but nobody hits that mark. If they hit that mark, they sure as hell don't hit that mark consistently. There's a safer way to invest, not financial advice. This is what I do. In these bear markets, I just put away so many dollars per week, 25, 50, whatever I have, and I put it into one of my 6 different digital assets that I believe are going to go far, and you can see them right here. On this channel, I do not want to hold anything back. If you think there's any kind of bias, this is why. This is what I believe in. I've done years of research, and this is what I see is going to do well. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, EOS, Cardano, and Chainlink. Those are the 6 that I truly believe in right now. So just be wary when they say, oh, you could have doubled your money. Yeah, if you timed it perfectly, but who the hell does that? All right, here we go.
In this asset class from the beginning are used to these kinds of moves up and down and are not running for the door, or at least not the dedicated folks. There's been a lot of folks that have run into this asset class and have run for the door, and I think that's probably the message in here.
I mean, let's not forget Bitcoin was basically worth a penny for the first couple years of its existence. I mean, so it's had these incredible runs.
I think that's the point. It's not unusual for this asset class to move that much. Whether it gets there, we don't have any idea. But it's not unusual to see it. I mean,
and my beef with the call is not that I don't think that Bitcoin has value. It's that I wonder if that move.
I love that part because you could take a look at this program last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Even in 2017 was that parabolic run. People are like, well, that's great, it's going up, but what the hell does it do? We don't understand it. It was just like when the internet came in. Look, if you're young, and statistically with my channel, I can tell you that the people that watch it are between the ages of 20 years old to 34. So some of you knew what it was like before the internet. I know what it was like before the internet. There is a great clip of USA Today where Brian Gumbel and Katie Couric, they're asking their producer, what's the internet and what's an email? No idea. It's the same thing right now. In 20 years, we're going to look back at these types of clips and laugh our asses off because we're like, wow, they had no idea what digital assets and cryptocurrencies. They had no idea that XRP would be this huge conglomerate and this huge asset, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and some wacky shit we don't even know about now. But yeah, that's how I see it. But it is amazing how times are changing. And even this panel right here, they're like, yeah, Bitcoin does have value. So I can feel it. I don't know if you can feel it, but I can feel it. I can feel it when I watch different segments, when I read different articles, and I do both a lot. It's just like there is a shift coming in the way that the public perceives and interacts with this market, and I think 2020 is going to be a huge year, and we're going to get into that in a little bit.
Down from 20,000 back down has just scared off, to Tim's point, so many potential buyers of the asset class.
I think it has, but I think we're probably washed out, right? And listen, you don't need to have a $250,000 price target to still do well in Bitcoin. If it went to 14,000, you'd double your money. I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, if I was 8 feet tall, I might be in the NBA. I mean, if would could, right? I mean,
if you would.
Well, who's that? But here's the point. Actually, but here's the point. It was at 14,000 this year. right? So that is not that unusual. It was at 13.9 earlier this year. So again, these moves are extraordinary, but not unusual.
Anything else in the crypto space, Tom, before we let you go that you like?
Well, you know,
Blockchain plays?
you know, I mean, I'd still say if I looked at 2020, the easiest way to make money in crypto is going to be a position in Bitcoin. I mean, as you guys mentioned, it's actually done quite well this year.
So I think Tom here is a Bitcoin maximalist. The thing is with Bitcoin, I think it's the safest bet. I do personally, because I mean, everybody knows about it. Institutions are getting in. I mean, old school legacy places like Fidelity now has Fidelity Digital Assets, and they're going to push a lot of people to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I think that's the safest bet. However, if you think about it, for Bitcoin to go up to its all-time high, it's around 7,000 right now, somewhere around there. It's December 21st, 2019. So for it to go up to its all-time high, it has to roughly triple, right? 7 times 321, my math is correct. And the all-time high was around 20,000. Okay, triple. But if you look at other digital assets like XRP, right now it's at 20 cents. If it tripled, that'd be 60 cents. Its all-time high was $3.40. So what is it, 8x, 10x? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I mean, you might want to say it's a riskier bet. I don't see it as a riskier bet, especially with things that are going on behind the scenes, the utility, the different partnerships that they're making. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And XRP knows a lot of people. But yeah, I think for XRP to triple, I mean, come on, how hard is that? Especially in the next bull run? Shut the front door. So let's keep going with this video.
What's interesting is, you know, crypto, especially Bitcoin, really does seem to be textbook in some of these systematic models. Like I think one of the best has been Tom Demark's sort of his combo counts. And if you look,
first of all, I was like, who the hell is Tom Demark? I had no idea who this guy was, because I'm not a TA guy. I don't believe in it. But I was looking at it. And I had to find out who the actually hell he was, and so this was an article about 3 weeks ago. And it says, Bitcoin analyst whose indicator called 3150 bottom predicts 30% drop possible. And I was like, great, another TA bullshitter. Let's see what he says. And it says here, in the matter of exact targets, he noted that his firm, Demark Analytics, this is Thomas Demark? Tom Demark. TD. Tom Demark Analytics is currently charting a move in the Bitcoin price to 63.08, some 15% lower than current prices, with a current max downside of 52.94 in a crash-like scenario. So I was like, what? This guy's probably FOS. But 3 weeks ago, so we're on December 21st, 3 weeks ago was essentially November 30th or December 1st, somewhere around there. So I was like, let me see if he was accurate, because I always like to prove TA people wrong. So we're taking a look here. 3 weeks ago, roughly, Bitcoin was around 7,800, 76, 75, somewhere around there. And who knows where we're going to go. So if we're looking at, he predicted that in a short amount of time, it's going to drop down to 6,300. And what do we got? 6560, which is on December 18th. So got to give it some like, interesting little piece. Let's see what else he's got. So it says here, so why should Demark's calls be given heed? Well, the investor also took some time to explain the historical accuracy of his indicator. He talks about these 13 candles, no idea what that is, which signifies a strong trend reversal, was registered by the TD sequential when Bitcoin hit 20 grand in December 2017, and then another 13 candle when seen when Bitcoin cratered to 3150 on December 14th. What's more, a 13th candle was printed at the 14,000 top seen in June of this year. So he's been accurate on those parts. But I want to preface this. I'm going to leave this in the link. I'm not going to go with this video. It's about 2 minutes, but he sits there and he's talking to Bloomberg. Yeah, Bloomberg Financial. And he's telling him that, yeah, these 3 ones, they did pan out. There was a couple more that didn't. And then a lot of people he says a lot of other people have been using our information or trying to duplicate it, because he has a whole team. And this guy's been doing it for, decades, analytics. And he says, yeah, and they get it all wrong because they just misinterpret the facts. So I'm just going to tell you, for this guy, yeah, I could put a bet on him on, you know, most of it or some of his, I would say. But the other people out there, look, unless you got a team like this guy and been in this for decades, then get the heck out of here. I'm not going to listen to you. And look, not financial advice, but if you want to do some trading, that's the riskiest thing you can do. 9 out of 10 traders are not profitable. If you have had some bad trades go wrong, put it in the comments below. I want to hear what happened to you and what went wrong. Now, and if you had some good trades, let me know. And the big thing is, I'm always curious, is like, over time, did you hit that mark consistently? And are you up? Don't tell me. I used to live in Las Vegas. Gamblers would always tell me, yeah, I made a huge hand. I made 5,000. Well, how much did you lose for the night? Oh, I lost 10,000. Doesn't matter. You're still in the negative. All right, so that was interesting. Tom Demark, didn't know that. Good to know. Let's keep going.
Look at these charts. You know, at 13s, they've been turning points, and so Bitcoin's getting close to a high.
You know, Mark Husko, Morgan Creek, well-known guy to this show, and Melissa and everybody. And I'm gonna scream. He might be watching. If I screw up your stat, Mark, I apologize. His whole point and he's a wealth management guy and a hedge fund guy. His whole point is, if you just had 1 or 2% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, just 1 or 2%, you would have increased your gains. And again, I'm screwing up the numbers by a couple of percent a year. So you substitute 1 or 2% from some other asset class, and you would have increased your overall returns very nicely.
Yeah, and if I think regulatory...
And that's it for this video. It goes over some other things later on, but that's not the big stuff. The big stuff is what this gentleman just said. Financial advisors are getting smart. They're saying to themselves, okay, I get it. If I can allocate this investment into some of my customers' portfolio, I can offload some of the risk, even though this is risky. If I take 1 or 2%, 5%, and I can put it into their portfolio, especially in 2020, you'll make a killing. You can offset some of these different other stocks and bonds or whatever else they have in there that take a effing nosedive. So this was another point that was brought up by Digital Asset Investor. And he talked about, this is a video last week, he talked about he went to dinner with a financial planner. And I'm going to butcher this, but essentially he said, look, he goes, you can put these types of these non-correlated assets, these digital assets into your clients' portfolios, and you can offset some of their losses by these huge gains. And at first the guy was like, this guy's full of FOS. But then as at the end of the dinner, the guy was like, that sounds like a good idea. And was asking more questions and so on and so forth. So this is what I believe. This is why, and I put a little note here, this is why old school legacy institutions are getting in. So in 2020, we'll see places like Fidelity and Fidelity Digital Assets. Look, I've said this before, but Fidelity used to manage my 401k. So for me, an older person, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, Fidelity, I know them. Fidelity, they did my 401k. They didn't do a bad job. And well, I've heard about Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP, but I hear from other people that it's involved in the Silk Road and terrorism and all this nonsense. But hold on, wait, Fidelity is into it, so maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I will go into that because I trust Fidelity. I don't know about this Bitcoin. Sounds ridiculous, but I trust Fidelity. Or I trust TD Ameritrade, and they're old school and I'm old school, and let's make this work. So, and these are just the two that we know about, ladies and gentlemen. Behind the scenes, you think these guys that are in these games don't know each other? Or somebody who has worked with Fidelity has gone over to Chase or wherever else and is like, hey, we did this one thing over there and it might be working out pretty good. Listen, everybody is going to be getting into this game, and they're going to be talking about not just the 1% like me and you, who are like, I'm talking to you right now, you're a 1%er. Okay, you're an early adopter. These people that are going to get in, these are just average people, and instead of having like one or a fraction of a percentage of the world population who knows about this, now you're looking at 10%, 20%, 40%, and the money's coming. So that's my opinion. Not financial advice, of course, but that's where I see everything going. And so there's one last thing I want to talk about. Make sure and this was have a plan. Have a plan. You who is sitting there watching this video, I mean, we talked about, my last video, I talked about price predictions. There's a price prediction here, 250,000 for Bitcoin. I went over 3 prices for Bitcoin. The most conservative was 100,000. Tim Draper was 250, and if you believe in John McAfee, it's $1 million. Okay. I would average that out. Maybe it's gonna be 200,000. Okay. So what I'm gonna tell you right now, I wish somebody would have told me, which was this parabolic run. Let me go back. I just want you guys to see this. This is Bitcoin chart, okay? Going over, let's go back to 2016. See this right here, this flatness? It's pretty flat, but there's little bumps in here, and there's a peaks, and it goes down and goes down. This right here is not sustainable. This parabolic move where it goes straight up, it doesn't last that long. This lasted, this is December 16th, November, oh, I remember this month, it was awesome. October, a couple months. Lasted a couple months, and then what happened? Boom. And where are we? We're in this crazy, wacky channel that just goes sideways. It doesn't look sideways, but if you break it down, it does. And then boom, another dip. So when these big, huge spurts happen, and they're gonna happen again. If you're not familiar with Bitcoin, there's a Bitcoin halving coming in 2020, May 2020. And once that happens, that's when everything starts to erupt 6 months to a year afterwards. So here's my plan. Here's my plan. Not financial advice, but I'm just going to tell you. You can sit there, and if you hold on, or like me, I'm just going to talk to myself because I'm not giving you financial advice. This is what I did. I bought down here somewhere, and I thought I was a genius because when I went up to here, I'm like, I'm the smartest man alive. What the hell just happened? No, and it just broke. And before you know it, I was like, wow, what the hell are my profits? What the hell happened? And then 6,000 and 3,000. And then before you know it, you're like, wow, I just lost a lot of money. So if someone would have told me, hey, Rob, hey, this is going to go down. What goes up must come down. Have a plan to buy in. Don't just put, tens of thousands of dollars in right here. Maybe you got lucky. Because what if I would have put tens of thousands of dollars up here? I would have been screwed, right? And the same thing goes inversely. If I'm going to slowly invest, that's what I'm doing right now, slowly investing $25 a week, putting into those digital assets, which I talked about, my 6 that I believe in. Once this happens again, I need an exit strategy. And here's my exit strategy for XRP, and here it is for Bitcoin. So XRP, I just have to feel like, hey, it's going to go $200. And for some people out there, you're like, that. Some people are like, that's ridiculous. But some people who have watched my last video know that it's highly, not gonna say highly probable, it's probable. It is not a certainty, but it's a pretty good bet if you look at history. History doesn't always repeat, but it does rhyme. So if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna slowly buy in, I need to slowly get out. But I gotta pick my point. So once it hits $3, let's say I have 30,000 XRP. I don't, by the way. That's my goal. Let's say at $3, I'm gonna say, okay, look, I gotta take profits. So I'm gonna take 5%. So I'm gonna sell 1,500 XRP at $3, and I'm gonna make 4,500. Not too bad, considering the fact that I bought them for 20 cents. Okay, it's pretty good. And then later, I'm just gonna sit on it, and I'm gonna go, okay, well now if it hits $10, which I'm pretty sure it will, hits $10, I'm gonna sell 10% of that. Out of my remaining balance, I'm gonna sell $28.50, and I'm still gonna have 25,000 left, and I'm gonna make 28,500. Great, it's a great week, great day. Then at 30, if it hits $30, I'm gonna sell another 20%, which would be around 5,000 XRP. I'm gonna have 20,000 left, and the profit's gonna be 150,000. Then I'm gonna wait till 50. And you see where I'm going here. So when it's all said and done, when it hits 100, not if, it's when. I'm gonna make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost $1 million. Let that sink in. Almost $1 million. Now, I could do what I did before, would just go, no. I know it's gonna get to $100. I know it is. So I'm gonna wait and sell all at $100 for my $30,000, and then I'll make $3 million. Yeah, well, here's the thing. What if it doesn't? What if it only gets to $82, we'll say, and then it crashes right back down like what we saw here? What if it does that? Well, now I got to hold on to this stuff for another 3 or 4 years or whatever, however long it takes, so I can cash out. Don't do that. Not that I'm telling you what to do, not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. I will not do that again. And I have to be smart about it. We have to be smart, do your own research, but this is how I'm going to get out. Buy in slowly, get out slowly. Here's my strategy for Bitcoin. I got 2 different scenarios. I haven't decided which one I want to do. Either way, it works out pretty well. So let's say I have 2 Bitcoin. Don't, by the way, but that's the goal. Let's say it goes back to its all-time high at 20,000. I'm going to sell 10% of that, or 0.2 Bitcoin. Because I have 2 Bitcoin, 10% is 0.2. I'll have 1.8 Bitcoin left. I'm going to make 4,000. All right. Not too shabby, right? Let's say I'm going to wait till it gets to 50,000. I'm going to sell 10%, which is about 0.18, and I'm going to make 9,000. And you can see here, okay? And it's a little bit cumbersome because I have to deal with the numbers and percentages. So at the end, I'm going to make about 141,700. Not too shabby. If I buy in today and I spend 14,000, I make 141. Great. That's all I'm telling you. I think that there's more of an upside with XRP. A lot of people out there will tell you it's a shit coin. However, they're full of shit because I'm going to tell you right now, there is utility. XRP is working with 200 plus banks. They're doing cross-border payments right now. They're saving people money right now, 80%. I think they transferred over $100 million to Mexico itself, and they have a partnership with MoneyGram. More partnerships are on the way. So if you think it's a shit coin, then that's your opinion, not mine. Now, that's the one scenario. The second scenario is I can just say, let's make it easy. Once it hits 20,000, I'm going to sell a quarter, a 0.25. No, not a percentage, just like a quarter of 1 Bitcoin. I'll make 5,000. All right. And wait till it hits 50,000, and I'm going to sell another quarter. Make 12,500 and 80,000, right? And at the end, I want you to notice something. In both of these scenarios, I still have 10,150 XRP remaining. And in this scenario, I have half a Bitcoin remaining. The thing is, for me, I'm never going to completely sell out because I don't know where this could all go. This could drop back down. Bitcoin could drop back down to 7,000 once it hits 200,000. Who knows? I don't know. And XRP could go all the way up to $200, we'll say, and then drop down to 10 cents. You never know. But if I sell all of it, if I sell all my XRP and all my Bitcoin and all my Ethereum and all my Chainlink and and it does go up to these astronomical prices, which it could, because you never know, then you'll be kicking yourself. But if I do it this way, not you, then I feel a little bit safer about how I got in and how I get out. Look, that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching and dealing with the rants, but I think that these price predictions and these exit strategies, they're valuable to me. Do your own research, take a look at it. Maybe this is something that you'll be interested in later on, but that is it for today. Now, if you could do us one huge favor before you take off, please comment below if you think this makes sense or it makes no sense, or you're like, man, this guy is just goofy. It makes no sense. And also subscribe. Just one of those 3 things helps us slay that YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.